Canadians here today. So as our other token Canadian.
Things are going well. I just hit 200 students, which was really cool. And thank you. And I'm starting to see now at the point that there are people that are coming near the end of their enrollment agreements. So right now I'm just kind of beginning to set the steps to getting renewals going. So that's really cool. I've got a bunch of marketing planned for the summer, live events, festivals, markets, fairs. So we've got a lot of stuff in the works. I've been trying something new with a YMCA, a local YMCA program, trying to get in there. So I've been really taking the time to explore some new avenues of marketing, and they've been proving to be pretty successful. One thing I haven't tried yet that I'm looking forward to trying is a buddy day. So I'm in, kind of planning mode to get that going right now, and a couple of my colleagues have said that it's proven to be pretty successful for them. So I'm looking forward to giving that a go, and all's well.
Yeah. What was it that has proven to be successful, you're saying?
The buddy days.
The buddy days. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, once you have now some critical mass, Riley, when you started with us, where were you at?
I had in around 55 to 65 students. So I
Okay.
kind of
And what were you grossing?
nothing. Like I don't know, maybe 6, 7 grand.
Okay. And where are you at now?
27.
Okay. So 27,000 at about 200 students. And at 200 students, by the way, our benchmark would be I want to have the top schools up to around 500 US average revenue per student. But a lot of the $1 million schools right now are in the 300 active, mid 300s to low 300s average revenue per student. Um, and what'll happen is as you grow and up the new student tuition, but we need to move to that next step, which is what we do on Tuesdays with Master Leadership of focusing on the renewal process. But as you focus on the renewal process and getting that tuition up where it needs to be at 200 active students, I mean, that really should be a $60,000 a month school. And on the flip side, what's it been now, Riley? Like 6 months, 5 months?
In and around that, yeah, June,
Yeah.
July.
So going from 6,000 a month to 27,000 a month, from 55 active to 200 is really admirable growth rate by anybody's estimation. Wouldn't everybody agree with that? So, one, congratulations on that. Really good work.
That's why I gave him one
Thank
of
you.
these.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, appreciate it.
So that's really fantastic growth. Next stop on active is 300, which I tend to think is kind of a prime number for a lot of people. But the next stop on gross is 200 active being in the 60s, 50 to 60, right? Makes all the difference in the world. Riley, what I wanted to for you to explain what you have going on with the schools and the YMCA, and for us to chat about that to begin with here. So tell everybody about that.
Sure. So I received a call a couple of weeks ago from one of the school boards around here, and they mentioned that they had a program for some underprivileged kids who maybe don't have all the opportunities in the world, and they have them kind of in a separate location outside of the school. So they have a program that happens at this local YMCA, and they do their schooling there, and it's a bit of a modified education program for them. And I guess once per week they bring in like a fun event for them to do, and this year they decided upon karate. So they gave me a call and asked me if I'd come down, and I said absolutely no problem, happy to do it. But I've started doing that, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it, but I've gotten the attention of the YMCA, which is good. And I wanted to know how to best leverage the YMCA to get people into the school. I mean, I have no trouble getting into the local elementary schools and high schools and getting students, and I have been doing that. but I want to use the YMCA because the YMCA has the people are, already there. And, I just think it would be an ideal opportunity to get some more people in the door. But I wanted to know how to leverage the YMCA and build a program there that will help get them into my place.
Right, right. Well, let's talk about that. And the most fruitful source is directly into the public schools and or private schools, right? But within the YMCA system, there's several things that they have a tendency to do. One is summer camps, spring break camps, winter break camps. So essentially entertaining daycare when the kids are out of school, right? So going in and doing either the equivalent of an after-school enrichment program with those, or I tend to prefer doing a 1 day, a PE teach for the day, getting permission slips and so forth, and doing that, right? They also tend to be, and there's, community rec centers, YWCA, YMCA. Hell, that's how I started. Mass Smith, you remember our, in my rich dad, poor dad story, the poor dad group was, where I started in the YMCA or YWCA, and then which was the same one where Nautilus, Arthur Jones invented Nautilus equipment, if you didn't know that trivia fact from way back when.
If everybody even knows what Nautilus is these
It has
days.
kind of passed its prime, hasn't it? But that was the big revolution in weight training equipment way back when. Pretty much all of the machines are based on his original premises, though. Now, but the YMCA, YWCA, and the rec centers tend to all have regular programs, right? So they have swimming classes. If they have a pool, they have karate, martial arts, one thing or another. They have dance and so forth. And the process of having a branch where you put an instructor in there or doing it yourself in one of those programs and having an ongoing program is really a waste of time and not something you want to do. On the flip side, the answer that Master Smith gave, which is something I've been trying to get people to do over and over and over again over the years, is doing an introduction to class, right? A 101 that runs 3 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that, that then graduates into the martial arts school, has the productive possibility of being a pretty good feeder. Mass Smith, if you remember way back in the day, that's the way Master Clark built his multiples, is he would do a bunch of branches in all of the rec centers and YMCAs and YWCAs around where he wanted to open a commercial location, and put part-time instructors out into that, and then open a commercial location and aggregate them all into the commercial location. The thing that you have to be careful about with that is not to ever have it presented as more than an introduction to. The most recent example, and of course, a lot of these examples predate Groupon, but the most recent example is if it looks like and feels like something that's like a Groupon thing, a 5 week for whatever, a fairly cheap prices. The problem I find, Riley, with YMCA, YWCA community centers is they want to dictate price, or at least they want to dictate a price ceiling. And so if you let somebody enroll in something at $45 a month, month to month, as their martial arts program, then you try to convert them over to $397 a month on a 12-month contract, there is a real dramatic leap. On the other hand, if it's a $49 introduction to martial arts, because that's the most that they'll let you charge, and it's a 3 week or a 4 week program that you repeat 4, 5, 6 times a year. And then the first time they show up, you tell them, this is not an ongoing program here at the Y. This is an introduction to. What we do at the end of the 6 weeks is we graduate into your white belt or your gold belt at the martial arts school. Anyone who wants to continue with that, what we're going to do is schedule you for a lesson at the regular school this week, and then just flip them right away. So what you never want to do is let them roll for the full program either. You treat it like the most recent example, a Groupon offer. It's a 4, 6 week, 3 week, whatever that lets you get away with, short-term offer. Charging, in my view, the maximum that they'll let you charge, within their context.
Yeah.
And
And I actually did that at our YMCA, and the county rec system. In your county rec, you have these county rec programs that they run, and places that don't have YMCA's anymore, because I don't think those are as popular now as your county programs through their
Yeah.
rec department.
Different areas are different, Master Smith.
Yeah, that's, I'm saying not all areas have YMCA, some do. But I'm telling you, everybody has, if they don't have a YMCA, they definitely have a county rec program. And they run all kinds of programs in there, and you do your introduction to karate, and you do the graduation, 6 lessons or whatever, your 10 lessons or whatever you're gonna do, and have the graduation at your school. They get a white belt with a yellow stripe, which is in essence kind of halfway to the yellow belt. And that way when they join in, they're right in cycle with the rest of your students, and can fit in and adapt quite well, rather than teaching just some arbitrary curriculum that isn't going to fit in with your program. You just kind of teach that first basic leg of your program.
Yeah. So does that help, Riley?
It most certainly does, yeah. So now the goal would be for me to approach them and kind of explain that that's how I want to run the program, and if they want to do it, then great, right?
Yeah. The second element, not to lose the thread, is keep in mind, it sounds like in this case they have a really good connection with the local elementary schools, right? At least the district. So you want to always work your way back up that ladder. And again, Master Smith, like there in Virginia, they have some really powerful county level programs that you can run. Here in Colorado, in some areas of town, the YMCA is really big. Down south, there's a really high-end YMCA, and we did a lot of stuff with them. A lot of times they're big in inner cities, with or without it being the right target audience for you. But it's either the county or the local community. Where I'm at, we have the city of Golden and the city of Lakewood both have rec centers that have these types of programs. So you look for the rec center or the YMCA, the YWCA, or the comparable. And the other element of this, like we're talking here with Riley's situation, is here, Master Smith, it depends on the district, but either the YMCA, YWCA, or the county rec center or the city rec center has direct connections with the school, providing after-school care, summer camps, and so forth. And so I've oftentimes been able to do like little one-dayers with those guys, build a relationship, and then it's the same people who are working in the elementary school or the same people who have a direct pipeline into the elementary school, and then it works back and forth. But the main thing to always be thinking about is where this stuff goes wrong is, and I've seen it so many times, Matt Smith, going back to my friend Terry Bryan, is he got all excited because the school district in Colorado Springs would actually put him on payroll and have him teach, the equivalent of a PE program like Kick Drugs Out of America. I was like, well, no, that's our charitable arm. That's not our, for-profit arm. But what you don't want to get sucked into is a permanent program at the YMCA where people can keep coming back. That's what we were talking about earlier. I think that was on Tuesday's
Tuesday,
meeting. Yeah. But you don't want to get sucked in where it's a program that the same people go in over and over again, or that it's an ongoing program. And I do see people get sucked into being the martial arts instructor for their local daycare, and they're getting $20 an hour and feel good about that. That's a stupid thing to do. Or putting staff out to do a $50 a month program at a daycare or YMCA or YWCA or a community center, but something that's a spring and fall or spring, fall, and summer, however they do their calendar, introduction to, that's a 3 to 6 week program that then spins them into your program, is fine. And it could be a potentially a really good feeder. And by the way, Riley, the other thing that it necessitates which everybody needs to be doing, is really having the strong leadership development program and growing a ton of instructors. Because when I go out into an elementary school, it tends to be in the evening. If I'm going out, I mean, it tends to be during the day, but if I'm going out to the YMCA, the YWCA, the community center and so forth, it tends to be afternoon or evening. So
Yeah,
I
unless
need
you're
to-
the summer.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. And so I need to develop a ton of instructors. So I have this high school kid who can go do this thing 2 days a week as a feeder, and this other college kid who can go do this thing. And then I can have a bunch of part-timers that can do these feeder programs. So having that leadership development and ongoing staff development process creates the feeder for people to staff these things up for you.
And that's another thing to talk about, Master Oliver, with summer right around the corner. If you're not lining up your summer activities now, one of the big things, if you're not doing an internal summer camp, you don't have to, but those that do usually make anywhere from 50 to 80,000 extra during the summer. But the second level of that is if you're not doing it, then you can actually interject yourself in somebody else's summer camp. So you reach out to these people that are doing summer camps and say, how would you like to have a 6 weeks karate program for your camp? And I'll come in and I'll do it as a outreach, our community outreach program to help the community if you guys want to learn karate. We've had them where they came they would bus them to the school and do a class, and we've had them where we would go to their facility at a certain time. And during the summer, you can do these in the morning, and you can line up 3 or 4 of them that you're doing on different days, and it really, for the summertime. But if you wait till May, when summer is already basically starting, it's going to be hard to get into those things now. So this is probably, if you don't do it in April, you're probably too late.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to be reaching out to them, and I would put it on your calendar for something you do in January is start reaching out to everybody else doing summer camps. Hell, around here, Master Smith, is even the tech camps that we're trying to get Chase in over the summer are filling up by February or March. Tony, I see you've joined us here. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Tell us about your progress and what challenges you're having, if any.
Unmute yourself.
Okay,
Griffin.
there. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Sorry about that. Progress that we're having from actually this year, we've been going on an upward trend. We finished out with January with 14 new students, and that's 14 after we lost 2. In February, we finished with another 14, and that was after we lost 0. And right now in March, we closed out with 10, and we lost 1. But I have 2 events coming up this month of April. We have our annual Snap Mat tournament, which is for our kids and adults with special needs. We have already about 60 students or 60 individuals registered, and that's from around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then we also have a carnival coming up at our local private school that's around the corner from our school.
Mm-hmm. Tell everybody, give everybody a brief synopsis of your special needs program and how that's working.
So what I've done is basically I designed a program for individuals living with special needs, their own curriculum, their own belt ranking system, and it's for individuals whether they are mobile, need assistance of a chair or even walker. They all have their own individual curriculum. I do this program in a lot of different churches, and so I mean they have individuals who come from around the area. Where I'm at is in Dallas, I'm like Dallas proper, so right by Love Field Airport. And there's nothing around in Dallas for this stuff. So I do get individuals from outside of the area who come in and maybe do once a week. And we do charge for once a week for a lot of stuff. But yes, it's just been very successful for myself. I'll tell you right now, It's not the typical business plan per se a martial arts studio would want. I can tell you that. I have 3,000 square feet. I should be rocking out about 300 to 500 students. Okay, but I'm at a total of right now, and I'm still new, but I'm at a total of 120, and I would say 40 of them are all adaptive.
Mm-hmm.
So, and because I do simultaneous classes, basically, and we have an adaptive day on Tuesday and Thursdays, and then we do mixed days on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So again, my business plan is a little different, but for us, for what it does, for what I wanted to do, it's been successful for us.
What you used a word I wasn't quite sure what you meant a minute ago. Because we
Yes,
do
sir.
what?
Because we do the adaptive training.
Well, simultaneous, I think, is the word you used.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually probably misworded that. We don't do simultaneous classes. That refers to same time classes.
Mhm.
What I do is on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are all strictly mainstream classes, which are individuals that do not have special needs.
Mhm.
And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, out of the 5 classes that we teach that day, 4 of them, excuse me, yes, 4 of them are adaptive classes.
Mhm.
And that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Saturday, we have both adult and kid adaptive classes, as well as all of our mainstream classes. And I even have a leadership program. Master Smith actually encouraged me and gave me a really good idea about my leadership program, building up leaders. And that's pretty much what we're rocking. Unfortunately, I do not have the time to add, per se, to break it off into what would be like an instructor certification program. So that's part of my pitch in going into our leadership program is teaching these guys to learn how to teach, etc.
Well,
yes, sir.
I think that statement is a misunderstanding of what it's all about. Is what we do want to do with that. I mean, it's a topic for our Tuesday meetings, but you have year 1, year 2, year 3, and the evolution of the leadership program is into a more hands-on teaching certification. It doesn't have to be a separate schedule or something like that. And as
They're
far
just helping with the basic class, and that's where you're teaching them how to be an instructor. They're just assisting in a basic class, so you don't have to have any different classes. It's just those that are in the instructor training program, besides their regular classes, they'll come and they'll do a leadership training class, which would be a basic class. And to do that, if you follow me, how that goes?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we probably should schedule a follow up with Matt Smith to go over that a little bit, Tony. But what's your growth been the last few months?
For the last few months, well, let's just take this year. So as I explained to Master Smith before, just to kind of give you a brief update, last year's income, we took a big loss. And a lot of it was because when I jumped on board with Martial Arts Mastery, I dumped the program that was killing me the most, which was jujitsu. I asked Master Oliver, talked to me about it, and I dumped it. So I took a huge loss. And so looking at this year, right now, in comparison to December, the gross was in December was 15. Right now in January, we went up to 18. In February, we went up to 20. Right now, at the end of March, we hit 23.
So you're
So
pointing in the right direction.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get up to the 200 students quickly.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, 120 students, 23,000 a month. You're quite a bit less than 200 average revenue per student right now.
And
So-
yes, sir, correct, sir. And I just recently bumped to 250 a month.
Okay.
We're at 350 down, 250 a month.
Okay. Yeah. Krista, where are you at now?
For the quarter, sir, or for the month, for the last?
Yeah.
Both.
How did your first quarter look, but also what's your tuition pricing?
We start at $397,
Okay.
the basic program. our quarter were up quite a bit from last year, up about 70% from last year.
What percent?
70%.
70?
Yeah.
70, yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. That's a
well,
growth trend.
I remember I made the bulk of my income in the last quarter of last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
So my first quarter of last year was quite low. It was only at 64 average. This quarter I'm averaging 80. So
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
first quarter last year you were averaging 64,000 a month. Now you're averaging 80,000 a month.
yes, sir.
Okay. How many active
Still like a
students?
25% increase.
25%. Sorry, I did the math
Yeah.
backwards. My dyslexia.
No.
That's
You were
okay.
right about that. No, but I mean, that's a 25% increase on $64,000 school from last year. That's still awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's that's
That's
a great growth
fantastic.
rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many active are you at now?
About 240.
240.
Yeah, I have a question when you get a chance
Oh,
about
right in. Go right
some
in.
marketing stuff. So we are last year I was averaging 72 leads per month.
Okay.
This quarter, this last month, I was up to 80, which is good. And the bulk of those leads are from buddy events, which we're doing a lot better about getting buddies in the door, but getting them back in the pipeline of doing the 2 weeks lessons has been just a real challenge for us. And primarily because we're not seeing the parent of the buddy. Like they'll come in, they'll fill out the permission slip, and then poof, we never see them again. So I'm wondering if there's some strategies that might be helpful to getting that, because the kids are having a great time and they're wanting to come back and they're wanting to do it, and then we're just
Can I give her an answer on that?
But before you do, Master Smith, Ryan is here somewhere. I saw Ryan calling out to Ryan. He's hidden in the background somewhere. Krista, we had the same conversation. If you see in the Facebook post, Ryan had posted about having 28 friends in just a couple days ago for a buddy day, and had, I believe the number was made 4 appointments total. We had this conversation for 30 minutes yesterday on that special session we have. So the long answer is in that, which would be a good one to pull up and for you and your staff to go through. The short answer is make the appointment on the way in the door, or make the appointment before they show up, right? So with the ones where the parents show up, fill out the form, drop the kid off, at the point at which they're filling out the form, that's the place I want to schedule the follow-up appointment. And I always, just like a birthday party, I always want to phrase it in the way that part of what we're doing with the buddy day is all the kids who are here with their friends are going to be coming back on a special, another special class, either on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, the next couple times are. Which one of those would work better for you? And of course, 80% of them say, I got to check with the soccer schedule, the wife, the husband, the whatever. And the answer is the same as in a live booth. Oh, I understand. Let's pencil something in tentatively. Tentatively, what do you think will work? Well, I know I can't do Monday or Tuesday. Oh, no problem. We have a Wednesday at this time, Thursday at this time. I'm pretty sure we can do Thursday. Then you're done, right? The same script. But the key component is don't let them show up for the buddy day and then try to schedule it after. The absolute worst thing to do is they show up for the buddy day. You've got the information. You try to start tracking them down after the fact. Oh, there he is, Tyler. We had this same conversation about Tyler's event yesterday. But you always want to be, no matter how many show up and no matter how far the line is out the door, the point at which they're dropping them off, you make the appointment. If it's something where you can get RSVPs ahead of time, like a birthday party or a pizza party, then you make the appointment before the event even shows up, right? But if it's something like a buddy day where it's hard to control who's coming in and it's hard to get permission slips back ahead of time and so forth, is the requirement's always the parent has to be there to fill out the permission slip. And at the point they're dropping them off, that's when you make the appointment.
Master Oliver, I do have a follow-up question about that. So
Go ahead, Christian.
For our events, when we're running birthdays or buddy events, we do fairly well on the appointment side. So we're getting like an 80% return for people booking appointments because we're doing it then and there. Now the shift has come from less so actually booking the appointment, and a lot of people are canceling either the day of or a couple days beforehand. Do you have any advice on, like the people who are like ghosting, no shows, even the people who we do reach who are just like, we're just not interested in martial arts right now?
Sure, sure. And it's exactly the same problem whether you have an event booth or it's in a movie theater or it's a buddy day or it's a birthday party or whatever it might be, right? Is like in a live event, what we're seeing is 80 or 90% make appointment, but then a 50% show rate. And what the moving components are is the quality and the quantity of material you send home with them. The mistake would be send them home like with a dentist office appointment confirmation where you write the thing in, that's all they get, right? What you want is big packet of testimonials, a lot of information about the program physically, but also then you're dripping on them by email and by text and so forth. And yeah, I could have the debate all day long about whether to send home a DVD. If somebody sends home a DVD player with me right now, I'm not sure I even have a DVD player in the house.
Yeah, just send them the link on
Well,
the card.
yeah, but that wasn't what I was going to say, Master Smith. Is the debate is whether to send a DVD, send home a thumb drive, or whether to text and email them the link. Here's what we know for a fact. Something physical you send home with them stays with them. And something you email or text gets lost in the shuffle, and either they look at it immediately or they don't. The right answer is do all of the above, right?
Gotcha.
And the most important piece probably is going to be texting them a series of video links to look at. The text is much more powerful than email. I would also email them a series of links to look at. I'm probably going to get a 20 or 30% open rate and maybe a 10% click-through rate. So I mean the odds don't work in your favor. Plus the deliverability problems with email. But the other thing is I would always send a physical mailer confirmation. Worst case, a note card with a confirmation about their appointment. Best case, priority mail envelope, big packet of information about the program. Could be the same information you already gave them, I don't care, with a cover letter of we're looking forward to seeing you, and get that in the mail. Now, none of those things are going to fix the we went home and talked about it and he's just not interested syndrome, but it's going to improve, right? And if you look at the cost of a stamp, the cost of the piece of mail, the cost of the printed materials, and the other stuff is basically once you have it in the can is zero cost, right? Series of texts, series of emails, and so forth. If you look at the marginal cost of that, it's well worth it, because what we know, Christian, in your case, the average student value is going to trend towards $9,000 or $10,000. So if I spent a couple $100 on them to get them in, I'd still be fine. I mean, heck, if we look at our lead source from any other cost, it's going to cost, $400 or $500 to get an enrollment. So why wouldn't I spend, $5, $10 on follow up to each lead? Christian, but by the way, while we have you, what's the first quarter look like there? We got two Seattle schools here at the same time. So what's on the other side of town, how does it look?
Not familiar so much with the number side of things in regards to the information that Marie has. That's a meeting that we're going to be having, I believe, today with everybody.
Well, let's ask Marie. Marie, how's the first quarter look?
Oh, is Marie in the meeting right now?
Yeah, Marie's here.
Yeah, we did about 5% or 10% better than we did last year, first quarter last year. So yeah, and our student value has gone up by about $50.
Okay.
So overall, things have been doing really well. So,
What's the average month look like in the first quarter?
around 85.
85,000 a month with how many active?
That is 270.
70. Excellent. Um, the enrollment flow pretty strong for the first quarter.
Yes, yeah, we're netting about 10 students a month.
Okay.
Last summer we took a huge hit because everybody and their mom just picked up and moved to Europe for the whole summer and just didn't come back. But yeah, we've completely recovered from that. So
You are in one of those areas where you have that challenge.
yeah,
We had a school for quite a few years in Bahrain, and their routine was actually to close for 2 months because everybody left the country. And I was like, let's not
Holiday.
completely shut down. I mean, surely
On
not.
holiday.
Yeah, on holiday.
yeah, this summer is
Suhail.
looking better though, just because we have a lot more people enrolled in summer camps. And last summer we were just scrambling to get any bodies we could. So
Yeah.
it's looking like people are going to stick around and go back to normal routines this summer.
That's something to ask on the Tuesday meeting about doing the Blitz strong in April, May. Starting that now, like, so that because that's really an attendance or a retention tool as well.
Yeah. And I actually had a question. I'm on because I had a question about a piece of marketing material that I put together for a pizza box flyer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to share that and have, and get some feedback on that because it's been
Go
a
right
while.
ahead.
Put some
Here,
things
let
in.
me see. I'll make you co-host if that helps to share. I'm not sure you have to be.
Let's see. There we go. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we have some friends that own a kind of like a pizza restaurant up at the top of Queen Anne, not too far from us. And so, we've done this before, but it's been a while. So this is something I put together.
Is it a two-sided?
No, it's one-sided, but I can make it two-sided.
I would give at least a sense of where you're located on there. And in your case, at the intersection of, I forget the streets, but blank and blank.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be enough that they can drive there, but it has to be give them a sense of where you're at.
Okay. Yeah, I'm realizing I forgot all the contact info on this.
Yeah,
And
website,
website, and the QR code should be higher, I think, for rack cards.
well, this
This is for a
is
pizza
not a
box.
rack
It's on a
card. This is
pizza
a pizza
box.
box flyer, but
Box.
I would always have the offer and the mechanism for respond together. Right. So I actually would in this case I would move the testimonial and the picture up and move the coupon box down. And
Put
then
the 2 weeks in uniform free down there with the QR code.
Okay.
yeah, where the picture is now. And then I would add at least give them a sense of where you're located.
Yeah.
Queen Anne area, intersection blank and blank. And then clearly the web address in addition to the QR code and the phone number. And then let's look at the rest.
Master Oliver, I don't know that I would. I think if I was designing this, if it was me, I would, because it's the form factor the same as a rack card, and I would do it the same form, unless I'm wrong about the proportions. I would do it the same as a rack card because it's cheaper to order. You can get that form factor online, probably the same cost, and you could probably get it double-sided the same cost, and then you could use it as a rack card if you wanted to. So now you've got a double use for the design piece, and I think your cost for printing at a high quality print is going to be less.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a little tough just because he's just using Scotch tape to stick it on the box.
Mhm.
And so with the card stock versus something that's like a thin paper,
Yeah.
I could see
Well-
that being a little bit of trouble for the guys delivering it.
The other option is to buy them in sticky note format, those 3x5 ones I posted before,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and use
Yeah,
that
that would be
design. And those stick really, really good. There's a lot of stick on the back of them. They're 3 inch by 5 inch. You can get them full color, and they're super cheap. And now you can give the pizza company a stack of them, and all they gotta do is slap, 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 and that'll make them a lot happier than having to scotch tape anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that happens in layout, and for God's sake, back when we were still mailing the magazine, I used to bitch about this all the time, is I don't like improving self-discipline to be hyphenated on 2 lines, self-confit, and then hyphenated on 2 lines.
Right.
And all of the graphics people would always argue with me and point out magazines that do that and stuff. I'm saying, if there's something I want to punch up, I'm not going to divide it out over 2 lines that they don't even see it. And the things that I want to punch up in the copy, I would underline, highlight, bold, so if you're going to do self-discipline, self-confidence, mental alertness, and goal setting skills, put them all in bold, underlined or something so they stand out from the copy. But I wouldn't let them hyphenate over a couple words, a couple of lines. From a standpoint of sales copy, that always annoys me.
Okay.
What parents are saying is the picture of the family that's doing the testimonial?
Yeah. The one in the red uniforms.
Then the
Okay.
picture should be above it.
Yeah, okay, I see there's the arrow that
I just put the picture above it because you're gonna put the 2-week down there, and then I would, you maybe move the other family Black Belt Academy, the first column up to the top, and move that picture over to the left bottom, at the bottom.
yeah, I would do something to break up the copy a little bit, because in this format it looks kind of run on, if that
Wordy.
makes sense.
But
Wordy.
being wordy is our MO. I mean,
No. And by the way, Marie, in this case, in copy, more is better in most cases. I would just make it readable.
Yeah.
So break it up, highlight, underline, one thing or another. I would make it even more obvious that the family in the red uniforms is the one giving the testimonial. And I'd rather use, Bob, Susie, and parents, and Melissa, I always do more and more and more identifying to the extent that I and they are comfortable with it, right? On the pizza box flyers specifically, and this is a separate case, but we've done a lot of times where it was 8.5 by 11, and half was a coupon for them and half was our information. And so a lot of times that was the selling point for it. Or if it was done as a charitable fundraiser, we would, if it was Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever, Gino's Pizza or whatever it was, we would print them uniquely from as sponsored by Domino's Pizza and Mile High Karate. And that was all, in this case, the owner, but in the case of rolling it out more broadly, that helps to pitch it, right? So for everybody, the thing that I managed to get literally millions of this stuff out, never having once paid for it, never once, it was always they were the co-sponsor, basically the media sponsor, if you will, for a newspaper or something, or a radio. But in the case of the pizza places, they were the co-sponsor of a charitable fundraiser, and then that worked out really well. If this is going to be like a Post-it note or scotch taped on, there's no reason in the world not to go ahead and print the backside. Marginally, it doesn't cost very much more. You want to make the full sales presentation on the front, and then it gives you more space to expand the sales conversation on the back. Many people won't ever see it. They'll just see the front and never take it off the box. Other people will pull it off the box and they'll see that there's more on the backside. You could even kind of like you did the arrow there, is point the arrow to the backside for more information. I always print 2 sides, even if the likelihood of them seeing the backside isn't much. again, the marginal cost isn't much, and the additional space.
The paper's what cost.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once you're doing it, it's a marginal net cost. Let's see. So if we read the copy, yeah, the copy is pretty good. I would just make it a little bit more readable.
Yeah.
Like I said, bullet pointed or highlights in bold, separate it out a little bit, do a little better job of identifying the testimonials coming from them. You know, usually what I'll do is take a testimonial like that, then I'll pull the most powerful sentence out and make that a headline for the testimonial.
Tu sobrina nunca me llamó.
So if you figure out what the most powerful line in there is, you know, or you know, make something that they would agree with and
Mhm.
use that as the headline to it to pull them into it. And then maybe you pull out something else as a subhead and do a paragraph break with the next most powerful thing, bold and underlined. That'll make it a little bit more readable.
Okay.
But yeah, don't never forget the phone number and the and tying the call to action to what to do next.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm out of practice, so.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, do a little post-it note. Always put where we're located, the phone
Yeah.
number, the website.
Right. Yeah, and then I probably won't order too many because if we're changing locations, then it's not gonna be right.
I will say the month before I opened, I did a run of 5,000 direct mail pieces, and then we found out after it mailed that it had the wrong phone number. Hell, we did a postcard mailing recently in January that said back to school on it. So you know, everybody misses that type of stuff from time to time.
Well, they were back to school after the holidays.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
That's not a bad one. The phone number's bad. The other one's not.
Yeah.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes, sir.
if you check Instagram, I sent you a video. It's a flyer. It's folded. It looks like a wallet. And someone's got it on the ground. They're walking by. They open it up. They think it's a wallet. And it's a flyer for a Chinese restaurant. So if you get a chance, tell me what you think of it. If the one side, the way it's folded, like a print, it looks like a wallet folded. When they open it up, it's a flyer for a Chinese restaurant. But it looks like a Louis Vuitton wallet on the outside, the way it's folded.
But by the way, anybody who thinks that I check Facebook messages, Instagram messages, X, aka Twitter messages, LinkedIn messages, or any other social media messages has got me mistaken. How my email autoresponder basically says, "Piss off, I don't do email." So put it in the Facebook group. I do check that.
We
I'll see if I
have
can get
one communication path, so don't
Yeah.
send it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And anything that's important for me to see by email, people have to text me and say, "Go check your email."
That's one more fast question. We have adopted a road. It's the road where the high school is,
Yeah.
the middle school is. So it's one of the most traveled roads throughout the city.
Mhm.
But we've had it for 5 years now. My question is, what if we did it as a buddy day?
Mhm.
It's like come back, everyone get pizza and do karate afterwards. So we get more people help doing it because the road's getting more houses on it. So we're getting a lot more garbage. Last year we did 41 bags. But
Mhm.
my question is, do you think we should do a buddy day or just do it as a student day? Because the whole county does clean up adoption road day, the whole day. So
And-
every road gets cleaner roads.
Anything you can justify as a buddy day, do as a buddy day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. But what I wanted to go back to here for a second is I do want everybody to take a note of ratios. If you have a piece of paper and a calculator, take 80,000 a month, divide it by 240, and take 85,000 a month, divide it by 270. And somebody tell me what you got there. I've got 314 on this on the second one. And I've got Krista winning at 333 on the first number. So for Marie, Jason, and Christian, you know, note the 500 average revenue per student that you're targeting here. Krista, the same thing. But for Tyler, Ryan, etc., take a note of that number if you're now at 200 active students and you had the same average value that Jason and Marie have, at 200 active, you'd be at what is that, 62,000, something like that. And at the average of 333, you'd be at 67,000 a month. Again, take a note of that, because I want, that's real world in the field this month numbers to be taken a look at, and that's the way that you end up with a really strong net. Is you build a school where the average revenue per student is really strong. That revenue per student comes from both the initial tuition, but it comes from the renewal. Chris, that $397 a month for a new enrollment, and over 500 for a leadership, you're going to be very quickly moving towards 500 average revenue per student, right? And that makes all the difference in the world. I mean, you can imagine you get to 300 at 500, you're a $150,000 a month school with no more moving parts, right? I mean, you don't need more staff, you don't need more square footage. You just have everybody's getting paid more and is happy, and the net is stronger. And that will be a 70% improvement in net. and by the way, the growth rate you have probably was pretty close to 70% up in the bottom line, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which really is the number that matters. Good. Any other questions before we move on? Two things I'll remind everybody, or three things, I guess. Number one, starting in May on Wednesdays, and you guys are welcome to come if you want. We put the recording in the Facebook group if you want. Some of it is repetitious, but like Krista with the thing we just did, we did spend 30 minutes on that same topic yesterday. Is starting in May, we're going to be doing a 4-week blitz on how to have your best summer ever, focused on predominantly on marketing. That is something that any and every one of you are welcome to come to, invite your staff, but also it's designed for new people coming